What's your carnal theory?
Hi everyone, I am Abba.
And I'm Amanda, and this is Carnal Theory, where we talk with our expert guests from around the world to learn how taking command of our sexual story affects our personal wellness, our sexual experiences, and relationship to ourselves and others.
We start each show by asking our guests to propose a carnal theory for all of us to consider. This theory is meant to challenge a presumption or a perception that we might have, and we'll end the episode by revisiting this theory to see if any of our perceptions might have changed over the course of the conversation, and also to invite you to consider it for future reflection.
Today, we're talking with Denell Barbara Nawrocki, who has been researching plant medicine, cervical wellness, and personal transformation since 2008. With the knowledge she gained from her studies, which also includes a master in integrative health, she has been able to self-heal her HPV and cervical dysplasia for over 7 years. In 2016, Denell founded Cervical Wellness, an online education platform aimed at guiding women through the process of self-healing their cervix and empowering them to connect with their sacred female anatomy. Welcome, Denell. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Abba. I'm so excited to be here and share in this conversation with you. My theory is that when we take long, deep inhales through our mouth during sex, this opens up the female pelvis to be able to receive penetration and more pleasure, and it makes it more possible for us to achieve what we all dream of, which is cervical orgasm.
That's really interesting. Amanda, I think you actually had a question about like what a cervical orgasm is, like versus.
Yeah, so I was wondering, when I first read this, I was, wow, there's so many questions I have, but the biggest one is, what is a cervical orgasm? Some people may not have heard that term before, as opposed to your quote unquote, like, or normal everyday orgasm.
Yeah, so the cervical orgasm is actually an experience of pleasure that is unique to the female body. There's nothing that is relatable in the male body. So a cervical orgasm is when we orgasm from and through our cervix, which the cervix sits at the end of the vaginal canal, and it's really like it's the end of the uterus, it's the neck of the uterus, but there is the face of the cervix is what's exposed in the vaginal canal. So most typically, women experience clitoral orgasm, so experiencing pleasure on their vulva via their clitoris, or G-spot orgasm, which is just right inside the vaginal canal on the upper side. And those are all amazing and give us pleasure, but cervical orgasm takes us through an arc of pleasure that doesn't have the same experience of, say, a clitoral orgasm, which is most like a male orgasm, which you have this peak, and you have this penultimate experience, and then it kind of just drops off. A cervical orgasm is really like a full body experience where the entirety of the nervous system is activated through the vagus nerve, which is a very powerful nerve pathway that connects our cervix and many other organs to our brain. And the cervical orgasm is said to be an experience where you open up to pleasure and then you plateau, and you open up to more pleasure and you plateau, and you open up to more pleasure and you plateau. And cervical orgasm has been likened to a deeply, profoundly spiritual experience in sex. So there have been many women who have spoken to, having psychedelic visions, or having, experiences where they go out of body in a really profound and beautiful way. It's not like you're dissociating, where it's a different experience than what we have been led to believe is the only way of experiencing pleasure, which is that, upswell of pleasure, peak, and then drop down. That cervical orgasm actually leaves a woman experiencing pleasure and openness and just feeling good for all day to potentially a week. And it is really a magical capacity of the female body.
Wow, that's amazing. And how does breath get us to that place? Where is that information?
So breath is like one of the most important ingredients in achieving cervical orgasm, because our mouth and our throat are deeply intertwined to our pelvis, our vaginal canal, and our cervix. So when we are clamped up, closed up here, not breathing, we are clamped up and closed up down in our pelvis as well. So the more that we can relax the jaw, the more that we can allow breath just to flow in, which relaxes the rest of our body, we can then be open to receiving that sort of pleasure, because some of us can get really afraid with the experience of oncoming incredible pleasure because maybe we've never experienced that before, or whatever has happened in the past. And so through deep, long inhales, and obviously exhaling, we're not holding our breath, that gives our body the indication that, oh, this is a safe experience, and I can relax the muscles. I can open up the vaginal canal, open up the pelvis to receive whatever is penetrating me, because in sexual penetration, the uterus actually pulls the cervix up and into the body cavity, putting it in a perfect position to be stimulated in a way that provides pleasure. If time isn't given and relaxation isn't occurring, that the uterus doesn't pull the cervix up, and the cervix is actually too low in the vaginal canal, which can cause pain. I'm sure most women that I've spoken to can relate to the experience of that, oh God, sharp pain of too deep of penetration. So through the breath, we are able to send signals to the body that it is safe to open, it is safe to relax, and it is safe to deepen into this experience of blissful pleasure that perhaps we might not have ever experienced before.
How do you know what your body is asking of you? How do you know what your cervix is asking of you?
I have spent many years cultivating a relationship with my body to learn the voice of my body and learn how my body communicates to me. And it's different for every person. So for me, I receive impulses where it might be a quick thought or a quick vision, if I tune it, even if I'm sitting at my desk doing work, if I take a moment and tune into my breath and I get a vision of me at the sink filling up my water bottle, I'm okay, I think my body is telling me I need some water. Another way is through just sensation. So often, pain in our body is our body signaling to us that it needs something, whether that's changing a position or moving or getting something to eat or whatnot. These messages and the way our body signals to us is unique to each of us, and there is a general theme. So pain or pleasure or just sensation in the body. So we must be embodied to feel the sensation, and also impulses or quick visions or quick thoughts that just kind of come from nowhere, where you're not actually thinking about something, but suddenly something kind of drops into your mind. That's how I have known my body to communicate to me. And when I'm connected to my cervix and my cervix communicates to me, that comes from this deep, it's an inner knowing that is ineffable, meaning you can't really describe it. It's just I feel it in my heart and my inner torso, oh, I know I need to do this. It's something is pulling me towards it, because the cervix through the vagus nerve is connected to the heart. There's a direct nerve pathway. So when I'm connected to my cervix and I feel a divine inspiration from my heart space, I'm okay, this is a real guidance. And I have found that anytime I have followed through with that, it's been wonderful, or things have unfolded in a really beautiful way, or it's turned out better than I could have imagined. So I invite everybody who's listening and watching to begin to hold in their their awareness that their body is always communicating to them. And when we begin to open up to this communication, our own style of translation occurs. And as you practice this more and more, the dialogue becomes more easily. So I have been doing this now for like 4 or 5 years, and so the dialogue is a little more easy, seamless. But at the beginning, like I mean, it would take my body to tell me I had to get up and go to the bathroom, like pee or something, like for 3 hours, and suddenly I'm like, shoot, oh my gosh, I really have to go. But now I know that I feel like I have to go to the bathroom, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to get up and go, and I just listen to that. So that's a very basic example. But yeah, I just invite people to begin to notice what their body is telling them and to follow through with that immediately upon receiving that communication, and then just notice what happens in their life.
Thank you so much for coming and talking with us today, Denell. We really, really appreciate it. I hope our listeners also get a lot out of it. I think they will. We want to make sure that we do reflect back also on the theory that you proposed at the top of the show. Will you read it for us again, just so we have a second to kind of think about it, and our guests can take it away with them post-conversation as well?
So the theory is that when we take long, deep inhales through our mouth during sex, this opens the female pelvis to be able to receive penetration and more pleasure, and makes it more possible to achieve cervical orgasm.
Wow. And I think we learned a lot of tools to try this out and put this theory to the test in our own sexual experiences, which is really exciting. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in today. We hope this episode has given you something to further reflect upon, and reach out to us with any of your questions or insights. You can do so on Instagram by following us at Carnal Theory, and definitely check out Denell's website, cervicalwellness.com. She also just released a book called Informed, Aware, Empowered, A Self-Guided Journey to Clear Paths, which came out this January. Thank you so much, Denell. Thank you for being with us.
Yeah, thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Abba, for holding this space.
Carnal Theory is produced by My Sexual Bio. Our sound design is by Audrey Cohane, and our theme music by Men the Universe. My Sexual Bio is an educational platform built to empower people like you to take command of your sexual biography. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, YouTube, and Spotify at My Sex Bio. Visit our website and join our e-letter at mysexbio.org, and support our work by joining our Patreon. Thank you.